Hello everybody, Sigark here, back with another educational video for the infected. And in this video, I'm giving you 5 of the best tips to survive in winter. Let's get started. Tip number 1, store unharvested fish for proteins and fat. The winter season presents a few challenges when it comes to collecting food. You will notice that a lot fewer animals will spawn in the wild, making hunting much harder. Additionally, cold temperatures and blizzards will cause you to start freezing and force you to take shelter in your base. Ponds, which are usually a quick and easy source of proteins and fats via fish, will freeze over, cutting off another source of food. To solve all these problems, I recommend catching as many fish as possible in the fall months and storing them. The key here is not to harvest them. Once you harvest the fish for raw meat, it will expire in 30 minutes. Unharvested fish, however, will last for 18 hours, even in a storage container. If you want to take some proteins and fats with you on the go, bring some dried fish. They will last 18 hours and provide a lot of protein and some fat as well. A few additional stats on the fish. Raw fish will expire in 30 minutes. Cooked fish will expire in 2 hours. Dried fish, 18 hours. Unharvested fish, also 18 hours. Cooked and dried fish have slightly different stats, but dried fish will last much longer. Also, even though the ponds are completely frozen, you can still fish with a spear through the ice. You can kind of make out the fish. They will look a little blurry, and they'll have to be somewhat near the surface for you to stab them with a spear. The easiest way is actually to wait for a blizzard to come through. For some reason, the blizzard conditions will make the ice transparent, and you can stab the fishes that are at the top of the water quite easily. This is more of a glitch than a tip. It might be corrected in future updates, but take advantage of it while you can. Tip number 2. Store potatoes for carbs and vitamins. Because of the cold temperatures, no plants will be found in the wild during winter. Additionally, any plants that you have growing in your plant beds will wither and die. The easiest way to satisfy your carbohydrate and vitamin needs is to store potatoes. The great thing about this food is that they don't go spoiled for a very long time. Your potatoes will last 12 hours and they only take up a single inventory space. Each potato plant you harvest will yield 2 potatoes. That being said, it is by far the best plant to stock up on, especially in the early game. Tip number 3. Grow plants indoors with a heat source. If you do happen to run out of food in the winter months, you can farm indoors. You can either move your plant beds or build new ones inside. Plants will die in the cold below 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius. You can move plant beds inside by pressing N, but make sure you light a forge or fire and keep the heat going. If your plants are exposed to cold for more than 20 seconds, they will die. If you do move your plant beds, be aware that moving them will cause you to lose whatever seed is currently planted in them. If you do need seeds in winter, you can loot them in houses. Most houses have at least 1 seed in them, but usually a lot more than that. Tip number 4, collect snow to get water. When you see your pond freeze for the first time, it might seem like you are going to die of thirst. On the contrary, picking up snow anywhere on the map will fill your flask with water. Picking up snow will give you dirty water that you can drink at the expense of energy. Otherwise, ideally you would want to boil it on a fire or stove. Grab some snow with your flask the same way you pick up water from a pond. It seems obvious once you know this, but the game doesn't tell you about this very essential feature. Tip number 5. Exploring is easier during winter. Travel will be easier in winter because all bodies of water will be frozen and easier to cross. This can be especially helpful when traveling to faraway towns while searching for tech blueprints. Usually you'll have to cross at certain connecting strips of land when the water is not frozen. Most of the mountains surrounding the water are also too steep to climb. When you run long distances, your thirst is the first thing to run out. If your thirst happens to get down to 0, the penalty for that will be extremely slowed movement speed. If this happens in summer, you'll be forced to walk at a snail's pace to the nearest water source. In the winter though, it is almost impossible to run out of water because there is snow everywhere. The only real hazard in traveling in the winter is freezing. To solve that issue, check out my guide that explains how to manage your body temperature and avoid freezing as well. I'll link it in the description below. As always, thank you for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, and check out my other guides, and I will see you next time.